Welcome back to Swamp Shangri-La. We're going to be doing some timber cutting here, folks. Or should I say we're going to be doing some down tree cutting. We've got a down tree we dropped here beside the grain shed. You notice I can only really go in one direction. I guess I could have dropped it back that other way, but the natural lean of this tree made it where it wanted to fall this way. Now you notice this tree is up on the stump right here. That's how it fell. It kind of fell, and then it kind of back kicked. And that's what you got to watch out for a little bit. So when you fall something, you got to make sure that you definitely have a way to get out of the area. And so you see how it popped right back up on its stump. Now that is a very dangerous scenario right there because it's in a position for cantilever. That means it can go any way at once. Now something else you'll notice, I've started limbing the top of this tree out. You can see how I cleared some limbs off the top of this tree. But you can see how you have limbs on the bottom of this tree, right here. Now these limbs are stiff. Hear that? These limbs are like an archer's bow. They're in a state of compression. You have stored energy in these limbs waiting to be released. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the tractor and we're going to go ahead and see about putting the forks underneath this and getting it off that stump. That way at least one end's on the ground. Then what we're going to do is we're going to see about getting some weight off of this thing and getting these limbs cleared up, maybe even rolling this. But before we can roll it, we're going to have to get the weight off these limbs to get that stored energy off of it. And then see about getting these limbs trimmed up real nice. That way we can go ahead and work with this. Figure out, grab about a 12 to 15 foot log to play with our new log bunk we got going on. And that way we can get some good stuff done for y'all. So sit back, enjoy the show. We're going to get some stuff done. Stick around. You can see we got the fork set up underneath this tree right here, and we got her jacked up a little bit. We jacked it up to take the stress off of these limbs right here to try to take them out of a high state of compression. That way when I cut into them, they don't want to explode. I have some semblance of a positive load also, control the load. Now let's talk about positioning one's body. Now you notice what side of this load I am standing on. This is not the camera angle. This is not for you, the viewer. This is for my personal safety. You notice I have the tractor between me and this load. That means if the hydraulics fail, that means if I have too much load and I blow the hydraulics on this tractor bucket, it's going to dump. Now if I'm standing on this side, I'm going to catch that load in my legs and I'm going to be crushed. That's why it's called a pinch point. That's why it's called a crush point. When you are right in the breach where you don't need to be. But on this side, if the tractor bucket fails, I just step out of the way and I'm good. The only thing I have to watch out for is when I hit these limbs. Now generally when I limb something, and everybody has their own unique way that they do it. Now when I limb something, I try to come down on the tree limb probably 1 or 2 feet. That way I hit it and I take that initial energy out of that compressed limb. Then I'll hit it again because it's going to want to try to clamp your ball. So I'm going to use the chainsaw necessarily like an axe, but I use the similar principles of throwing relief cuts to get that stored energy released. And once that stored energy is released, then I can cut it and then come in and shave it nice with the tree, which is what we'll be doing here right now. So stick around here. We're about to have some fun, and we're going to start limbing right now. There we go. That is why we keep positive control over the load. You see how I want to shift a little bit? Sometimes that is inevitable. Did we accomplish our goal? Yes, we did. We're going to get this wedge out, then we'll go to the other side. We're going to get this other end trued up. Alright, looks like I already trued this log up previously. So what have we learned here? You want to keep positive control over your load here. You can tell it's right now sitting pretty uneven, so I'm going to come back in, get a better grab on this thing. Probably just hook it with straps and be done with it. That's probably what I'm going to do. That way, everything's solid. You can see my principle about keeping positive control of your load. Now, again, this would not be the side that you would want to work, but sometimes you have to, such as this knot. So, you keep positive control of the load. I'll come back in with slings and go ahead and secure this. You can see that is not sitting level. That is not what you want. But you can see we did handle it. Had some spring, but nothing to really be concerned about. So we're going to go ahead and get rigged up here. We'll see you in a jiffy. We're going to go ahead and get rigged up here. You see we came around and trying to get a good bite on this right here. We got two 8-foot long straps we got going on right here. So we're going to be looking at this, trying to work through the best way to check it out. I'm trying to roll it a little bit forward on these straps, trying to get our goal, but we might wind up rolling it towards the tractor. So we're going to check it out real quick and make that determination. See what I'm doing? I got a pair of shackles right here. Make rigging a whole lot easier. What we're going to do is just sling this. You see I took the end, and now I backed off just a little turn. Sometimes when you put things on load, if you cinch your shackle up all the way, you put it under load, that's going to be kind of rough. So you take it all the way in, you just bump it back. So get that set right there. I'll come around this other side. Again, I'm using 8-foot chokers here. I'll come back. I got 8-foot and 12-foot chokers. What I'll do is I'll come back with a 12-footer. Tie this in. And all I'll do is undo what I did. Use that as a lift point. See us go ahead and get this set up right here. So you see the idea of what we got going on. Is the differential thickness of the log. It goes wide to narrow. So you can see I have those straps down there towards the base. So what I'm hoping for is when I lift up on this, based on the fact that I'm setting it up on a sling style, that is going to want to, I'm not going to say naturally equalize, but I'll say hopefully the weight will want to compensate itself. So we'll see if that theory holds true. And again, remember what I've already pointed out about lifting anything. Now this setup right here, folks, is not foolproof. You got clamp-on forks, as you can see. And frankly, I think we've probably been testing the limits of these things. Probably more than any manufacturer would ever recommend. But they are recommended for quite a bit. Now that being said, remember what I said about your principles of lifting. Low and slow. So you can see we have this set up. So when we lift this thing up, I'm only going to lift it up enough to clear whatever I had to clear. And then we're just going to creep on back to the sawmill and see about getting this thing put on the bunk. So we're going to go ahead and step back a little bit, and we're going to see if this theory is going to hold weight right now. Alright, now you see we put some nice healthy log on this wonderful piece of bunker right here. And you can see we approximately have 6 or 8 inches of space on this one side. So what we are going to do is we're going to see how it sits on this other side and see what we have to do to compensate, adjust, what have you. So we're going to check the travel of the mill. Make sure we have blade clearance on this far side. And how about that, folks? We got blade clearance. You see what I'm talking about? Starting high, working your way down. Ideally, maybe the fat side ought to be on the other side. But pretty good right there. We got some nice 15-foot plus long log here on our sawmill. So for safety reasons, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and lock this thing in place. Then we'll go ahead and lower these back stacks nicely. That way it's no issue. They're lower. Then the 2x4. So all we gotta do is keep this back. Come in and screw this dog in. Get a good seat. There we go. So you see we got our 2x4 in place. And if you look down the side of the log, you'll see we're going to need it. Because if you see how it travels, and what I'll do is I'll travel this saw head over. You can see how this thing travels. If you look at it, down the length of the log, you can see I might actually wind up having to put a lot wider shim in place to keep it from being bound up until we get a solid, decent, flat milled surface to play with. Because right here on this transition, you can see I can pull this back right there in that blade guide and give it a lot more opening on this side. So we'll probably wind up coming back and probably throwing another couple inches on that side to roll it over this way. That way, folks, we can have it a lot better center on this cutting head. But again, it's a process. We're learning. We're having a ball doing it for you. I'm very pleased with it. Before we start cutting, we'll have to change the blade out. Again, this came with the factory blade. Whatever the factory put on it. We got some good cuts out of it. But we're kind of dealing with a mystery blade, I guess you could say. We don't exactly know. We weren't told what came with the saw. But we did get a box of brand new blades that are very apt to what we're cutting. And we're looking forward into breaking into that box and putting a fresh blade on this, getting it all cleaned up. We got loads of sawdust after those cuts we did for those beams. So I had to get the mill all cleaned out. But our next video we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get this thing cleaned out. We're going to show you how to swap that blade out. And we're going to do some good stuff. So we'll see you on the next one, guys. Be safe and be good.